Hey everybody, it's Blake,
And this is Drew.
and you're listening to the Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Controllers podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 67 of the podcast. This time we've only got one game for you. It's I don't know if it's size. Well, it's a pretty good sized game. It's a big enough game, and spoilers, a good enough game that we figured it was worth talking about by itself. So, one game today, and I'll be doing a band on the end. But before we get into that, I'm going to bust through everywhere you can find us on the internet real quick and all that stuff we do. I'll try to make it quick. Blake usually does it faster than I do. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Those are obviously all the big places where everybody's at. You can follow us there to keep up with the goings on of the podcast. I post the games we play, and I'm going to start posting before episodes come out, before we record. Sometimes if we decide the game's early enough, we'll be posting about the games on there if anybody wants to write in about the games we're talking about. Maybe it'll happen eventually. We have a Discord. You come on there and talk to us directly. You know, there's different channels there based on the different aspects of the podcast. We have a Twitch channel for the podcast, of course. We're a video game podcast. You got to have a Twitch channel. We stream. We don't do any solo streams. We tried it a couple of times. We just don't ever feel like streaming by ourselves. We're not good enough to do that by ourselves. But we have been streaming we do try to stream co-op games, and we have been streaming more recently a couple of co-op adventures with our cousin Brian. It's been a lot of fun playing just whatever games we feel like playing at the time. We're playing games like we do before they leave Game Pass.
Yeah.
We have a Patreon, like everybody probably that has any kind of internet presence has a Patreon. A Patreon is just so you can give back to the podcasters or internet content creators that you enjoy their work. If you want to give back to what they're doing, helps them with the cost of certain things, equipment, and like we do art and music and other stuff like that isn't always free, of course. So that helps us in that way. We appreciate anybody who wants to get involved with that. I haven't got too deep into doing anything super special for Patreon. You get the episode when we record. You get it the day we record. You get it on Patreon. So on that Sunday you get it, the unedited version, the maybe slightly messier version. I don't know if people like that or not. And you get it a week earlier than for a lot goes live with the completed version. Have a Spotify playlist that I throw together, which I'll be adding to today. That I'll probably forget to add the song because I always forget to add the songs. But I'll be adding to that today. That playlist includes all the bands that I've shared on the podcast and the song that I played on the podcast. It's pretty cool. If you're a musician of sorts yourself and you make music and want to hear your music played on a podcast, you can submit that to us at our email address, the number 2 smokingcontrollers@gmail.com, and if I like it, I'll play it right here under this and give you a shout out. There's one of our things playing right now. I don't know which one. I alternate on every episode for the stuff that I play, so I don't know who's playing right now, but it could be you playing under this and getting a little shout out through our podcast. We have a store of various merchandise, the basic shirts and hats and water bottles, and a couple of other miscellaneous things. I think there's a pillow in there. We always mention, of course, the glorious pair of underwear that nobody's bought yet, but maybe some freak will buy it eventually. That's what it's there for.
Sure.
A little cross promotion, of course. We have another podcast, mostly hosted by Blake and our good buddy Steve. I produce and edit that one and speak occasionally when I can't keep my mouth shut. That's Action, the movie podcast. It's obviously a movie podcast that Blake and Steve take turns picking movies for the other one to watch, and they do not speak about. Talk about the movie for the first time on the podcast. They don't talk or discuss anything about the movie before they talk about it. Makes the most of the conversation off the seat of their pants, and because it gives them to give their honest opinions about things. They don't have to let the other person influence their thoughts on the movie. And then we, of course, are going to keep promoting Blake's self-published story on the Amazon Kindle. You can find it by searching "They Come This Night." It'll pop up right away. Links to all these things we do can be found in the show notes of this podcast. If you don't feel like going and searching for our name, all these other places, you can just basically search for the name of our podcast, either the lock, stock, the whole thing, or a lot of places you can just search Two Smoking Controllers, and we'll pop up there. But if you're too lazy to do that, I understand. That's why I've included all the links in the show notes. And that's all I got. And Blake's going to go into our one and only game, and let's see who developed it.
The game we're talking about today is called It Takes Two. Now, it originally came out March 2021, so it's fairly new, and admittedly, it's probably been talked about quite a bit at this point.
Yeah.
But it is, so we wanted to try it out for ourselves and see what all the hype was about, which we don't normally do, but we're actually a pretty decent fan of the gentleman. Well, it is a weird thing. We follow the director, but this company who made the game, which is called Hazelight Studios, it was his studio, but the first game he made was with a different studio. He then left that company to make his own company.
Okay.
And so he has been the director of 3 separate games. One's called Brothers, The Tale of Two Sons, and that was with a completely different company. And then he left that company and made his own, which is Hazelight Studios, and they have made 2, which is A Way Out and this one.
We've played all of these. Mm-hmm. 1K'd all these games because they're all pretty decent games. We'll talk about A Way Out after this.
Yeah. So Hazelight Studios is a Swedish company, and they've been around since 2014. So they've been around 8 years or so. Mm-hmm. They are at 65 employees currently. And like I said earlier, they've made just the 2 games, A Way Out and this. And the director, the gentleman that we followed, his name is Josef Fares. And he's the one who did Brothers. And it's kind of funny because they made Brothers, and then he says that he took his core team of 5 individuals and said, hey, let's go make something cool. And they said, okay. So they believed in his idea enough to leave whatever company they're with to help him start a new one. So that means he's at least like charismatic and fun, and he just keeps building upon his experience and making a better and better game. So he's at least, he's worth following.
Yeah, for sure. This game is probably, A Way Out was pretty popular, but nowhere near as popular as It Takes Two has been. So he's probably really on the radar now.
Well, he even
in the industry.
He even says that like as soon as he finished A Way Out, he was somewhat dissatisfied with how the game came out. Like he's like, we did the best we could.
We're kind of on the same page for that one.
Yeah, he said they did the best they could, but he was dissatisfied because he felt that they could do it better with more time and more money. And so he decided to start working on a new game. And he's actually, as well as being the director, he is also the co-writer. And we'll get to the characters here in a little bit, but there's a character, Dr. Hakim, and he did the mocap for Dr. Hakim.
Yeah, the mocap for him.
Mm-hmm. And then he made a much better co-op experience.
Yeah.
I think definitely. Hands down.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we're going to talk about It Takes Two more. We both played, what's it called separately? Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, which is a strange game where you control both brothers, one on each analog stick. Very confusing to deal with at first, but you kind of get used to it throughout the course of the game. I actually enjoyed the game quite a bit. We played the 360 version, and we have the Xbox One version buried in our GameFly somewhere. So I'm gonna play through it again and get another 1K on that game, because that's just to experience it again. Whenever it shows up on GameFly, I won't. It might, if we play it on GameFly, we might that'll be a refresh on our memory. We might do it on the podcast. It's an older game, of course.
Now, thematically, Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, not so much A Way Out, because A Way Out starts as a fairly realistic and a fairly serious game. But with definitely this one, and I would say inspiration from Brothers: Tale of Two Sons, is it looks like it's for children, which it's definitely for children, but it's got some surprisingly dark like things that go on.
Well, lots of dark stuff happens in Brothers.
Yeah,
I think It Takes Two is a little more lighthearted, but deals with heavier, like Brothers has clear, dark, bloody things on screen.
Yeah.
In that game, this has more, like thematically. Like if a kid's just playing the bright colors, it looks fun. They're not really listening to what the people are saying. You have to listen to what the people are saying to get the dark aspects of It Takes Two. Except for the one scene with the elephant, which we're going to talk about later.
Well, not even that. Some of the bosses get incredibly violent.
Yeah. It's cartoon violence. It's cartoon. Even the elephant one, which we'll talk about, is cartoon violence. So I think this has a much more lighthearted nature. Kids could play like
both, honestly.
Brothers and like really get kind of upset by like there's a river of blood in Brothers.
And you have to chop off a thing's leg to make a bridge.
Yeah,
there's a giant's leg to make a bridge. It's a little messed up.
Yeah, it's kind of a different type of stuff. I'm not sure Brothers was at the audience. The audience wasn't
for kids.
I think it's a teen and up kind of game. And Way Out's probably M-rated because of all the adult stuff you do in that game too.
So A Way Out is what like we said earlier. It's a co-op experience.
Yeah.
This game, as well as A Way Out, are not capable of single player
at all. Yeah.
Period. But they both come with a feature.
Unique to this game, like they created this feature.
It's like a share thing. Like if you have the game and you have a friend who doesn't, you can share
the game.
It basically is just share the game with them, and so that you can two people don't have to buy the game to play it together. So I think that's pretty cool because I guess that's also like semi-free marketing. Like this game was really awesome.
Well, yeah. You make it where you have to play co-op. They gotta find some way around it.
Oh yeah,
And
the game itself, It Takes Two, is a 3D action adventure platformer.
Yeah, sure.
There weren't
puzzles, lots and lots of puzzles, but they somehow managed to make puzzles fun in this game. And me and Blake don't inherently like puzzles, but they have puzzles in a way that it's impossible. You can't like. The other characters stand off to the side, and you're like, "Oh, I'll do the puzzle. It's fine." You got like every they somehow managed in the entire game to make every puzzle require both characters to proceed. Like, you can't do anything on your own. Hence the name of the game. So, and
it also does a thing. There's I don't know, 8-10 chapters. There's quite a few chapters.
I don't know how many chapters.
Me either.
It's a lengthy experience, way lengthier. This is way longer than the other two games.
It's a lot longer than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And one of the ways they keep it fresh is normally you're like, oh, let's keep adding on mechanic, and you kind of eventually start doing the same stuff over and over again.
Yep.
This game does that, but each level, each chapter, whichever you want to call it, it takes away your old mechanic and gives you a brand new one, so you're not repeating.
Yeah, you don't repeat anything for any long length of time. It just takes it away and moves on to a brand new thing. Which I think was an awesome way to. More games should do this instead of burying you in mechanics. Just drop it, move on to another one. Like make it keep things fresh and interesting. Stop repeating yourself. Like you don't repeat yourself. There's not even I don't think there's even really any mechanic where you're like, oh, we kind of did this earlier. There's nothing. I remember like that.
The only thing I could think of is there was one. It was fairly similar, but different enough that where it wasn't.
Which one?
At one point in time, your characters who are named Cody and May.
Mm-hmm. It's husband and wife.
And so at one point, Cody can fire these telekinetic nails, and May has a hammer that she can use to knock things around. Mm-hmm. So the mechanic of firing the nail as Cody is fairly similar to another mechanic later where Cody fires like an explosive gel and May fires matches.
That's just like
It's a similar...
Because you're firing something.
Yeah. But that's the only thing.
But the mechanics of the nails and the mechanics of the gel are
different.
Completely different. Like you can't even do the same puzzles with them.
But I was going to say that's the closest. They went above and beyond of making sure that it was different. That was the closest comparison.
So I was speaking of that. I put it in my note, the nail gun and the puzzles for the nail guns in my notes. Of course, I should have wrote. You can write notes for every freaking thing. My notes are going to be worthless because the game's honestly so interesting. But like, it's almost like any given one of these. Any given one of these mechanics, like the nail gun and the hammer, any other developer would have made an entire game about that.
Oh, for sure.
It would have been somewhat possible. Like, they're so clever with how they do things. You kind of do the same thing with the nail for a little bit, and then all of a sudden you're doing like a different kind of puzzle, and you're like, oh god, I would even thought to do. Like, you sit there and stare at something, and you got to think about what what the throwing the nails can do, and what it means to, like, 'cause she has the hammers, you're hammering the nails in, or you're jumping and grabbing the hammers, or they always end up being a thing, and there's a puzzle in each of the things where that you're like, they even find a new way to use the item that you've been using for 15, 20 minutes, and then there's a new way to do something. It's always really, really, really clever.
Yeah, they do keep reinventing and doing, and you're like, oh man, those sound really long. Not really. I mean, each level was, each level was like an hour and a half.
I don't know. It depends on how much you're playing around too.
Yeah, it is true, because we some things were fun and some things we messed up. We were out of sync on, and then other times we've been playing for so long, and when we would do the jump through, we're like, whoa, we totally just did that. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Because it does a really cool thing. We said earlier, it's impossible to play this game single player, but what the game does to allow a more efficient form of communication is no matter what. Even if you're playing, because we played in two separate rooms on two completely separate screens, but it forced your screen into split screen.
You play on split screens, you can always see what your other person's doing.
So I could see exactly what he was doing. I'd be like, hey man, shoot a nail right there at that green box. And he's like, what green box? I'm like, the one that, right there. And I had to like
look to the left a little bit, yeah.
And I could direct him.
You can direct him and communicate better.
And it definitely allowed for a much more efficient way of communicating. Because you're like, I'd be like, shoot the thing. What thing? Left, that one right there with and it just. And then eventually, it may also have something to do with the fact that we're brothers and we play, together all the time. But there'd be things where I was just like, all right, I'm going left. He's like, I'm going right. And then he just fired the arrows, and we just literally go through a whole puzzle without communicating because we knew.
Because once the mechanics sinks in, you can really just flow. There's a lot of
flow. Yes,
a lot of flow. There's a bunch with the nails of shooting the nails places and having May jump and ride them, and then have to, because you get to upgrade up to, for that one you upgrade up to 3 different nails, and then I had to figure out, part of our struggles with that is he can recall the nails, kind of like Kratos in God of War a little bit. Call the nails back to him, and I kept hitting the recall button without any kind of direction, and I thought the mechanic, I was stuck like recalling the last thrown nail, and then I figured out, if anybody's playing, you could actually look at the exact nail you want to recall, and you can recall specific nails back to you. It makes the something I thought was going to be much more complicated actually made the puzzles more manageable, because I could because I had to like shoot multiple nails and have Blake climb this whole series of things by jumping from nail to nail to nail by recalling the ones below and shooting above him. It looked really cool, and it plays really smooth. Like, they managed to get the controls and everything. Like, you're never like, oh, which button is it? You're never like tripping over.
There's usually one of two buttons.
Yeah, you're not over. But yeah, but with so many mechanic changes, I don't think you're ever tripping over buttons. Like, this make it so clean.
They just have you reuse the same button, but they got rid of the old mechanics, so you're already used, like, I hit right trigger or left trigger to aim, right trigger to fire, or maybe the bumpers. Mm-hmm. But it was always bumpers or triggers. There wasn't anything else, I don't think.
Yeah.
Now, Drew did go out of his way sometimes, and I did too, to pay vengeance back. Is I'd be swinging across the nails, for example, and I'm like, okay, I'm almost at the end, and he would just literally recall the nail that I was jumping to.
Yeah.
And I would just
There's lots of. They had to design certain things like that on because there's no penalty for dying. You just kind of
there's none.
You kind of just go poof and you pop back up
on like the last standing surface.
The last place you were standing on, basically. So they made it like clearly they want you to mess with your other person a lot of time. There's all kinds of ways to kill your partner,
and even some things like interacting with, because there's a lot of interactive things. Sometimes they involve the puzzle. Sometimes they give you a little extra interactivity and story between May and Cody and stuff like that. And hey, go jump on that button. I think we're supposed to jump on that button to do this thing. And you'll have your person go jump on the button, and the button literally just explodes them. Yeah. Or they jump into a tube.
You get electrocuted or something.
You're like, all right, I'm in this tube. Hit that button. Okay, you hit the button, and it's like the whole point is to trick you because you drop down to this tube, you hit the button, it ends up being a blender. The blender rattles and it knocks the books off. So the whole point was...
You say blender. We hadn't really talked about how the game looks and the kind of the idea of it. You are... I mean, God, we're bad about getting the game goes for a little bit of there's a fantasy element to it, but the world you're in is kind of is based on realism because you're playing as these two dolls that your two characters' daughter have made. Mm-hmm. So you end up getting pulled, put your bodies into these two little clay doll and a cloth. Was it like a?
It's clay and like wood, like a
she's wood,
like a wooden soldier.
Her hair looks like wool, yarn or something.
Yeah, yarn.
So you play a little wooden doll and a little clay doll, and that the art on them's really good. People talked about, I don't know, the podcast talked about how the dolls look really really good, but when you pull out to the human being parts of the game, you don't play as human beings ever, but you have cutscenes with the mom and the dad and the daughters wandering around the house. That the human beings look jarringly bad, but the art on the world and the dolls and the other characters you meet in the fantasy side look really good. Because I was thinking, well, they probably put a lot more effort
definitely
into those character models, and humans are hard to do anyway. I don't think the humans in the Way Out looked that bad.
No,
but so the world you're playing in is your tiny little dolls, so it's kind of like a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Everywhere you go, like you do, jump into an actual blender, you're flying through vacuum tubes, and there's all kinds of.
Or you're using a pair of boxers off the clothesline as a parachute to parasail down from a large tree.
Yeah, so everything is you're a tiny thing in a giant world. A lot of the cool stuff. People say some of the best levels are when you're like that. There's whole levels where you're like in the yard or you're underground and you're not really seeing the real world that much, like the human world. So those levels are still cool, but I've heard people say that they think I like the whole game. There's the whole space levels where it's not like this at all.
Yeah.
But the levels where you're a small thing in a big world, people love that stuff.
Oh yeah, you having to use a pencil to pole vault or like an eraser to knock something down to make a pencil a bridge or something like that.
Yeah.
So graphically, the game is pretty damn gorgeous. It's really pretty.
Yeah. It's definitely probably their best looking game from this particular company. I don't remember anything jumping out to me at a Way Out of visually. Just Way Out was just like a real game. Like
it was just realism. Real. They went extreme realism or hyperrealism, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Now this, like I said, it was gorgeous. Like all the elements and the vibrant colors and the interacting with everything, all the character models and everything was unique because a lot of the enemies you fight and everything were all. And
there's not really all that much combat, really.
Not really.
There's certain points, there's certain parts of the game where there's too much combat, maybe, but in general, it's mostly puzzle solving and platforming.
But each chapter does have an pretty epic set piece of a boss that you have to use everything you've learned with your two tools to do it, and you have to do it together.
Yeah.
You can't just you take care of everything and I'll just try to dodge. No. Yeah. I got to be dodging.
To even hurt the bosses, it usually takes both of you to even hurt the bosses.
It's like I got to be dodging what Drew is smothering the dude with that explosive gel, and then I got to run around behind it and shoot my little match at it to make it go and pop its armor off and then keep going. Or he'll have to... God, there's so many different tools. One of them...
Yeah, there's no way we'll be able to talk about all the tools in any particular order.
No,
I didn't write down the order because there's just too many of them.
because there's one that we have to be pretty in sync with. Because how do you explain it? Okay, there's like a time rewind mechanic and a me make copies of myself mechanic. When I say me, as Drew spent the entire game at the very start of the game, you pick if you're going to be Cody or May, and then you don't get another chance to swap. That's who
you do if you every time you turn the game on.
I guess that's true, but we
just had to stick with our characters. Yeah. So I played through the whole time with Cody, and Cody, you get a set when you play through Cody, you get a set path. You play as May, you get a set path of what you're going to do. Anyway.
And so my ability is I can literally lay down like a copy of myself, and then I can warp to my copy. The whole point is there's this button we have to get the boss. Hold on. Okay, I have to stand on the button to raise this thing so that the boss will charge at me. And when he charges at me, he hits this statue, and the statue falls on him and hurts him. And Drew has to be able to rewind the statue that's broken to where that it's going to fall on him at the perfect time. And I have to stand there as it charges at me and then warp away so that it hits the thing and the statue falls on it and knocks him stupid. And it is...
Oh, that's the bull.
That's that bull. Yeah, that's like way later. But that gets increasingly difficult.
Yeah. It's cool, though. It's cool thing about the things. It's like a Zelda boss. It's like figuring out what you're supposed to do. Once you figure it out, you're like, oh, this is neat.
Oh, yeah.
Because the bull was annoying at first. You figure out exactly... And then when we figured out what to do, we just turned the whole fight around, and that was that. I mean,
that's the key, is once you figure it out, you're like, how do we hurt this guy?
I'm thinking maybe the first boss, the vacuum cleaner, didn't really require our tools, did he? Was he just a matter of dodging his patterns?
Well, it was dodging his patterns, and then one of us had to shoot the explosives at him.
Because one of us was controlling the vacuum arm and then shooting the explosives back in his face.
He also didn't have that whole thing. There was no tool.
Because that's the first level.
The first level was just you understanding the mechanics of the game and learning how to use the game. Yeah, so it wasn't until the toolbox where we got the hammer and the nail.
That's right.
To reunite them together, and then it started after that. It started doing the thing, but the first level was
those vacuum tubes shooting off in places. It was really fun.
That was fun, and that was probably between that one and the toolbox, probably some of the most violent endings to a boss. You're like, oh man, that's intense.
How did you fight the toolbox?
The toolbox was the one with the matches and the flame gel, and you had to... Because what was it? Okay, you had to get launched by its little fly swatter hand up. And then you had to fill it with gel, and then I had to make him trick himself into knocking me up, and then I threw a match down there and popped his top literally. And I had to do that a couple of times, and you had to do it right as he was closing it, and that way the explosion would be contained and hurt him.
Yeah,
and it was
pretty cool,
pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
What are some of the other ones?
There's a bunch. I like a lot of fun. So we go through. There's the shrinking, where I had shrinking and growing, and you had the magnetic boot. The magnetic boots was maybe not as interesting as it could have been.
I mean, no, it was, because it reversed my gravity. Because remember, if I was running,
we've seen gravity boots in a lot of video games though.
But the thing was, if I was running and I went to jump and there was nothing below me, I just fell up. Instead of falling down. And so there's things you had to do where I had to jump, and you had to hold on. Part of the puzzle with these tether things, because you get a little whip tether, and that's the only thing that actually that stays through the game was your little hook shot.
Oh yeah, but that's not really that's just
that's part of the mechanic. But we both had to latch onto this thing. But as I was latching onto it, I was literally just being pulled upward, and it was up to you to drag me to the other side.
Yeah, but you're upside down, falling upward
where it was safe for me.
Lots of gravity stuff in those space levels.
So that was cool, but there's an achievement where you have to do a seesaw puzzle. And so I have to be standard size with my magnet boots, and all I have to do is hop up and jump on this thing and run around. And Drew has to be big and small, and he's trying to jump onto the seesaw to make me go. But all he has to do is be normal size. But the achievement is when he jumps off and grows giant and hits it, and it spaces does the Team Rocket blast off.
I thought you spaced me when I was tiny.
Oh, that it?
Yeah, I think you spaced me when I was trying to.
Oh, because you jump from it's from the very tippy top after I've already got the magnetic boots.
I use the
That's
growing
right.
and shrinking whatever mechanic to get you higher onto these platforms. A platform, I guess, and we're trying to figure out the puzzle basically. And I was like, well, try big. It don't work. And I'll try little, whatever. And you jump down when I'm little, and you hit real hard, and it spaces my character and kills him. And we didn't know. We laughed so hard because it turns out it was an achievement. We didn't know it was an achievement, but was shooting me off into space because I was so tired. We actually had to stop and generally laughed out loud.
Take a break, take a breather.
It was so funny. It's one of our favorite moments.
That was probably one of the funniest.
It was so unexpected. You're trying to just figure out the puzzle, and they put that little. It's inherently in the puzzle, but you just do it and you're rocking it off. It was so funny. You had to see it for it to be funny, I guess.
I know it was hilarious.
It's funny in the moment, yeah, because you're not thinking about anything being funny. You're trying to work out this puzzle in your head, and then all of a sudden something funny happens.
So we've talked about Cody and May quite a bit. Is it cool if I go into their voice actors real quick?
Oh yeah, sure.
Just real quick. Then
I think we know we've had them in other games that we've played. I feel like
I didn't really recognize any of them really.
I thought one of them was from something we played. But go ahead.
I'm gonna start with May first. She is from her name is Annabelle Dowler or Doler. However you want to pronounce that. So she's done voice work, and she actually acted in Sense8 for a couple episodes. She had some acting on-screen things in Doctor Who, and she's smaller. Her credits were kind of limited, but her two biggest voice things I could find was she does a voice work for some captain in Sea of Thieves. And she also does one of the characters from Divinity 2. She does one of the major characters, which we haven't played that.
We haven't played Divinity 2. We played Divinity 1, but
unfortunately, that's kind of it. She's fairly new to the game, so.
I watched Sense8. I wonder who she was in Sense8.
I didn't catch the name because I didn't watch the show, but so she had acting in that. Now the gentleman who voiced Cody is Joseph Balderrama. And he has done, again, just like her, he is actor and voice actor, but his was a little larger. Now, randomly, he was actually in The Batman. He was also in Alien vs. Predator. Randomly.
Who was he in The Batman?
He was lead detective. He was right behind, he wasn't Jim Gordon, and he wasn't what's his name, Harvey Bullock, but he was like Harvey Bullock's partner.
Your face, I guess.
Yeah. Anyway, he had some speaking roles. He was on screen for a good chunk of the time. And then some voice acting roles he's done he is in Payday 2 as a character, as one of the voices you get to pick. He's in Lego Batman 2 as Mothman. He's in Dragon Quest 11 as a character named Sangres. Sangress.
Yeah, played 11 yet. I'm actually working my way slowly but surely through the Dragon Quest franchise. I just beat Dragon Quest 4 a few months ago. It's not related to this, but I'm working my way through Dragon Quest.
And he was also he did voice and mocap for one of the fellas from Way Out.
For one of the brothers?
Mm-hmm.
So he was one of the brothers?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Huh.
I
think he was the straight lady. Well, no, both of you were in jail. So I think he was because one of you guys is like a blonde, and the other one's like brown head. I think he was the dark haired one. I forget the names, but yeah, he was one of the convicts or whatever.
Yeah. I'll say about Way Out, man. We played it, but I always kind of felt bad because I didn't like A Way Out that much. And you popped the final achievement in A Way Out before the end of the game. So when we popped the final achievement in A Way Out, we just stopped playing. We never saw the end of A Way Out.
Because we were in the last chapter, and you get the final achievement like at the start, and was like, "Do you want to finish this?"
Yeah, we weren't super into A Way Out. Yeah, it's sad but true. But we've played this game all the way through.
And so he had his two other bigger credits for voice acting is I think it's out now on the Switch, but he's one of the characters in Triangle Strategy.
Oh yeah.
And it says he has a named role, but I don't know the character name, but he does voice work in Forbidden West. Let's see here, and that's kind of, I guess, and he's also a small timer as well. But the fact that they are, on their way up, and I hope this gets them much more acting roles.
Yeah, I wonder because this movie was what do you call it?
Movie? You mean this video game?
I'm sorry. Well, that's the point. This video game. Is it proposition's the right word? This video game is supposed to be getting made into a movie.
Yeah, I did.
Amazon. I wonder if they get to be like, would they? Surely it'll be live action movie within the animated part with them as the dolls. So like, they would surely let them reprise their roles as the dolls in the movie.
It's possible, but I'm not sure because I have people who have been accepted to the role or accepted to. They're in talks. That's the word.
Yeah.
And I don't.
I know there's something holding off. Like, I hate getting into the technical, the dirty side of the gaming industry, but the stupid Takes Two company, the company Takes Two, whatever it is, 2K or Takes Two, whatever it Takes Two, is like getting all whiny about the game being called It Takes Two. So now they're fighting over that dang name. Just let it go. Nobody cares about your stupid company.
Yeah, that controversy. Hold on, it's literally that stupid. There's a company called Takes Two Interactive.
Yeah, and they cared about this game called It Takes Two. I was like, this game being called It Takes Two is much more important than your stupid name of your company. Like, just come on now. But anyway,
that's literally all it is.
That might be holding up the production of the movie. Whether or not they got to rename everything just to get the movie started.
Well, no, it wasn't even that. What it is they were trying to trademark It Takes Two. Mm-hmm. That's all it was. They're trying to trademark the term It Takes Two, so that they can move forward in certain avenues. And then they were halted and, cease and desist, or we'll take you to court and sue you. And so they just said, fine, we won't trademark it. And all that literally did for them was it kept them from having access to certain advertising and merchandise markets.
Yeah.
That's literally all it was. But now I think if the movie goes forward, I think they'll have enough pull to just be like, we're trademarking it. I think that's literally what they're waiting to do for the movie to go through, and they'll just be like,
I forget what stuff Takes Two publisher had done, but
I could look him up. I'm sure I recognize the name enough, but I didn't want to go down that rabbit hole while I was doing research for this.
Yeah, all right. Well, if you're doing the voice acting, we can get back to the.
Well,
so we haven't mentioned him, but you probably before we get off the subject of voice actors, do you want to get into the? There's a whole cast here of obviously of different things, but the other person that. Everybody else you kind of talk to it in passing, but I guess I don't know if you're interested in doing their daughter or not, or then also doing the Book of Love, which he is I'd say he's a divisive character, but people tend to actually hate him more than like him because he's a kind of a racial stereotype.
A little bit, but I don't know about that stuff too much. So I'll get real quick. To the daughter. I didn't do a whole lot on her, but she probably has.
Is it actually a kid playing a kid, or is it an adult playing a kid?
It's an adult playing a kid. Okay. It always is. But she might have more roles than everybody. She had like 52 roles, but she's been all over the place. Starting back in like 2001 is not that long ago, but that's when she started.
See, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It's not you have a weird thing on like things that aren't that long ago. We've been talking about this recently off the podcast. You have the other day, or what was you saying? You said something the other day. It was like over a month ago, and I was like, that's not recently.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like I 20 years, not that long ago. You're starting to sound old now, I guess.
So she's actually done voice work in. She has one of the NPCs from literally everything for the Souls. Demon Souls, Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, Bloodborne, Sekiro. She's done voice work in all of those.
That's cool. Got a little recurring work through From Software.
She did voice work as a game we've talked about already, Blackwood Crossing. She was the voice of the little brother.
Blackwood Crossing. Oh, when they kind of had powers, but not really.
Mm-hmm. She was the voice.
She was the brother?
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't get a boy to voice the boy in there? That's weird.
I don't know. That's a lot of things like that happens.
It's easy for an adult woman to play a young boy. I mean, Simpsons, for instance.
Look at Simpsons. Look at Izzy's voice actor from Digimon. It's the same woman. That happens a lot.
Yeah.
Shoot, Ash Ketchum is voiced by a woman.
Yeah.
And it still is. Same thing, like you said, with Bart. That's just how the cookie crumbles, I guess. I don't know. And all the way up, she has several voice works too in Elden Ring.
No, of course.
So she's kind of still knocking it out of the park with there, and she revised the role and did additional work in the Demon Souls Blue Point remake.
Oh, so they added additional dialogue to that game?
I guess so, probably. And she also does voice work in Greedfall, I Am Dead, Battlefield 5, League of that's Angels, not Legends, World of Warcraft. Like she's strongly into the video game. There's like one or two live action things, but she is deep dived into the video.
But she's
game.
not ever like she never got any lead roles. Even the daughter's not really a lead role in this. She's kind of like a.
Yeah, she's kind of off to the side. There's a Peppa Pig video game, and she does a voice work for that, but she's not the voice of Peppa Pig. Now, let me get the...
Is that jokes I saw and everybody talking about when, I think, Peppa Pig, the game got, like, Series X enhanced. People are like, oh, was it Peppa Pig or something else? What about they were saying it's so excited to can really see what the Series X can do now with our Peppa Pig upgrade.
I don't know.
It was some children's game that got a series, like, it didn't have one, and all of a sudden had a little symbol pop up on it.
Well, I forgot to mention, too, is that I have the note here off to the side, but Cody also voiced Dr. Hakim. Joseph Balderrama, he did Cody both. And Dr. Hakim.
Oh, okay. Well, that kind of makes that easy, huh?
Yeah. I literally have it right here, and I was like, I just didn't read. And I can read it perfectly. It's not crappy handwriting; it's decent handwriting. But yeah, and then the game, I guess, the game is fully voice acted, and I loved all the voices. They were all good.
Yeah. We talked briefly a little bit about is there anything more you want to say about the growing and shrinking and the magnet boots? You get a lot of cool perspectives, I guess, with the magnet boots, and I had to grow and shrink and do various things. It was like just that was the main puzzle, I guess. But I did like that part where we're running to the side and we have to both grapple these little balls are floating in space, and you have to shoot your grapple hooks out. And when we both shoot our grapple hooks out, it causes us to spin.
Yeah,
it looked really cool. I like that one. That was a really cool visual effect.
I'm trying to go.
Didn't do too much with the. There was a lot of. I feel like there was more shrinking parts of those puzzles than there were growing. Growing, which just made you. It was like because it was mostly messing with gravity. Like if I was small, I could go into places, but I used my heavy body to help get you to higher places or anything like that. But you got a lot of cool. It was kind of neat watching. Mostly though was watching you get those cool perspectives, like you'd be running on a wall beside me and a different kind of thing. Kind of really stuff you've seen before with gravity boots, but when you're seeing it, trying to explain it's different than actually seeing the level layout.
One of the mechanics didn't give us an extra tool, and we probably struggled on this one the most, I think. But it was the boat where we were both. I was on one wheel and you were on the other. And if you ran forward and I ran forward, we both moved forward. But then you had to run backward.
It's easier that's something easier to control when you're one person controlling it.
Yeah,
that was harder for us to.
And so I literally
forgot about that part. Yeah,
we were like, you go, but you had to fight that giant octopus.
Yeah, and just trying to maneuver was probably the hardest thing. Trying to communicate the movement of that, because it was just. One of us is because you could go forward and backwards. If you're trying to do a quick turn, like he had to go forward while I go backward to make that turn. Trying to communicate that on the fly while stuff is like shooting at you was probably one of the harder things to do in that game. If I remember correctly,
I think it was probably one of the
things.
Movement.
The movement part of that was hard. The part was cool. It was really cool, and everything looked really neat. But I think just getting around. I almost kind of forgot about that boat thing.
Me too. I mean, I'm scrolling through the bosses and trying to figure out some of the mechanics and just making sure that I don't forget some of the cooler ones. Or if I'm like, oh, that's really cool, let's just not talk about that one. But we've kind of hit.
I'm sure we're probably missing a couple. I did have in my notes when I was got these weird plant powers, and you got you have like a scythe. This is part of the scythe stuff. Was when we had too much combat.
Yeah.
But
I literally I had to fight while you were doing your thing.
doing other things. I wrote that there was a whole section where we had to sneak past. What were the animals? Was it moles or beavers? What was those animals we had to sneak past?
Oh,
Was it moles?
Because we were underground, it was definitely moles that were sleeping.
But there was a part where Cody gets these plant powers, and the cool thing about the plant powers is they plant powers did on different plants. But there was this section when we got to sneak past these moles so they won't kill us. And I was playing as moss, kind of. I was like a grass, like I was like a patch of grass, but it was quiet. Like I was quiet, and then for May to quietly get to a place, she has to walk in the moss, and I had to move the moss, and Blake had to like walk within my moss as we moved through this, like moving around and up and about and through all these moles. It looks really cool, and like kind of the idea of having to move together like that through a thing was pretty cool. And I never played as grass in a video game before.
It was silly, but it was really cool.
Yeah, I wouldn't think it was silly. I think it was just interesting.
Because it's one of those things. Is like one of them was I had to leap across a gap, and you couldn't, and so I had to jump quietly and land quietly. So we needed to time it to where I needed to jump. You had to run was it up the wall, around and down, and then be where I landed.
Yeah,
so I could land quiet. That was pretty intense.
It was really cool.
Especially considering that if we made any noise, it woke the moles up.
We actually got through the whole place without getting killed, actually.
I think
in one try, yeah. Because you have a little noise meter kind of like ticking up, making you nervous, but we actually got through it all in one. I don't think we woke anything up. I think we did pretty good on that one.
It did scare you a couple of times where it's built in.
Yeah,
to where
so
you can't. You're like, how do I get past this thing? And as you're walking, then the thing kind of rolls
rolls
over
over.
its sleep, and it makes noise, and it makes your meter go really high. So you have to be like, don't move. Good thing I don't have to fart right now.
Yeah. It'd be funny if it was it would take an extra layer of technology if it took your talking into a headset into account.
I don't think so.
It didn't, but it would take probably an extra layer of
like programming or whatever.
Tech,
There's stuff like that in games before where you're like, hey, you have to.
Yeah.
You like literally whisper and stuff. So I do know that.
But it was a section that didn't overstay its welcome. And I don't ever have to play.
You did that one time.
Yeah, one time. Don't ever have to play it. Don't ever play as grass again. It was just like always doing things you just don't think about. You don't think about how cool. I mean, I just don't know how. It's like not in a bad way, but it's like they sat in like their little office and had a meeting, and everybody. It's like he's like, everybody have your ideas. Everything's no bad ideas. Chuck them all at us and let's see what happens. And like,
I bet they probably did, and they're like, okay, which ones go together better? Like everyone pitched one single mechanic. Like, okay, well, you have this explosive gel and it can be lit on fire. Oh, okay, that sounds kind of cool. What can you guys? He's like, well, I will have
the gel is honey, kind of honey, explosive honey. So you have a whole section where you're dealing with bees. Mm-hmm. There's a queen bee and a whole queen bee thing. So you pair all that together.
Yeah, I guarantee that's what they did. Like everyone had a single idea and they pitched them together. Mm-hmm. And they're like, all right, so your idea, you do what? Okay, your idea goes with that. Let's put them together. You know, I'm sure they narrowed it down.
Yeah. So talk about the magnets. Of course, the magnets are really cool. We each get a half of a magnet.
Yeah. Well, you could push and pull.
Pushing and pulling. So that's a really very sciencey kind of pushing and pulling mechanics of how magnets work. Lots of really cool puzzles and pushing each other and pulling each other, and bridges with certain kind of magnets, or platforms that have your reverse of your those things put you together. Like we're not split up in these; you're together, and you got to figure out. Like I have the pull magnet or the push magnet, or the platform's the opposite. Yeah. You got to figure out which one of us has to go a certain way to do a certain thing based on the magnet that we have.
You're like, oh, you have a negative, and this is a negative. Let me slam my negative side of the magnet and launch me backwards with the repelling force.
Yeah, or pulling our magnets together and like riding. Like he could. It was fun. Was like Blake could be trying to do something, trying to accomplish something, and I would whip myself onto his back and the weight of my character would be like weighing you down because I could magnet my magnet to your magnet.
Oh yeah.
And you'd be trying to run, you'd be trying to jump somewhere, and I'd be like, shloom. You're like, get off me.
I'm trying to get this done. But that cool mechanic though. It was an annoying part, but there was a massive blizzard snowstorm.
Oh yeah.
And we had to do that where we had to magnetize together and use our weight to keep from being blown back.
Away. Very cool, yeah.
And then we had to use, since I I moved faster, or no, because it would depend on what pole we were going to. Is you would magnet to the, I would magnet myself to the pole, and then I needed you to magnet yourself to me. I had to be the glue that held the linchpin or whatever that let you sink and stay behind. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool part. Yeah.
And it was also really cool because that same thing is after you make it through the blizzard, there's an avalanche. And to outrun the avalanche, we had to do the same thing, but as we're barreling down, sliding down on our butts down a mountain, you had to pull this, then I had to grab onto you and pull myself forward, and we had to like slingshot each other to go faster and faster and faster and faster to not die in the avalanche.
Yeah,
and that
like
was
the
pretty.
pushing and the pulling.
That's probably one of the
pulling down bridges is obvious. There was a pushing mechanic where we had to push something to move faster. Can't remember what it was. There's a lot of cool.
I think, but there was like grabbing the
There's something that maybe it was an achievement. There's a some swing sets, and they have a magnet on the back of the swing set, and you push it, and as it comes around, you push it again, and you push it, and the swing set starts spin. There's an NPC. You can do it yourself. There's an NPC, a small child on one of them, and you launch the kid off into oblivion. So Cody or May or child killers apparently.
And they're okay with it because they're not real.
Spinning that, yeah, they did a lot of that where they have, and we kind of mentioned it in passing. There's stuff throughout. There's stuff throughout the levels, like things to play with. You're not always so.
It's literally things to play with.
Yeah, whether sometimes it's things that don't have anything to do with your item, whether it's like things like the swings that clearly involve your magnet. There's a few other magnet things, but there's just things that clearly have to do with your items, and they just give you so many things, different. I guess things that couldn't so much apply to a puzzle, but it's a cool thing. You'll walk by and you'll spin the swing, have a little giggle, and move on. It was cool. There's lots of cool things. And the ice level, don't forget the ice level was all the magnets is big sections of ice skating, which was actually really cool. Like really really smooth and fast ice skating, which I thought was really fun.
And then
you're ice skating inherently through a lot of the big parts.
Well, speaking of like playing like random things to interact with, the game itself. There's an achievement for finding all of them. The game itself does have
26 or something?
25. I think it was a solid 25. 25 mini games. Some of them were kind of weak sauce, and some of them were kind of fun. Mm-hmm. And do you remember any of them?
I do, but to go into all those little mini games, I don't know, because they're hidden throughout. They're kind of like the soul. They're kind of like quote unquote the collectible of the game. Yeah. They're hidden you go around behind this area. Oh, you'll find one of the mini games. We only had to play them all. I will say there's none of them that we played more than one time. We would touch them and play them once, to ping it for our little achievement, and then we would move on. I don't think any of them were as good as any of the other stuff you mess around with in the main game. Like we literally didn't sit there and play any of them. Like again, with the snow part, while you're running around, you could pick up snow anywhere and just throw snow at your partner or any other random people and just throw snow. And that's not... I think there was a snowball fight. There was a snowball fight mini game, I think, but you could snowball fight anywhere in the snow parts.
Oh, yeah, but you had to be like, I think there was a mound.
Yeah,
and you had to
trigger. An ice skating race. Is that a mini game, or is that just in the main part?
There's an ice race. I have them all pulled up here, but I'll go to them in just a second, just kind of talk about them. Okay. But one really cool, fun thing was, it was just it was a single part where we had to mechanic. The two toy dinosaurs.
Yeah, that was fun.
And that was pretty cool. Drew was a brachiosaur, and I was I think an ankylosaur or stegosaur, and I had to like slam on the ground to make a switch flip over so that he could bite it and move it up, and then move it somewhere else. And that was pretty cool. That was just a single area toys, mechanic.
Yeah, literally playing with toys to solve puzzles.
But it's some
you can blaze. We're not because we dipped into them. You could talk about the different mini games real quickly.
Let's see here. There is slot cars, chess. It's literally just chess. Laser tennis was Pong.
Laser tennis is one of the last ones we had to go back and find that one. We missed it somehow, and then it was kind of it was Pong, like really fast Pong,
really
kind of flashy Pong.
Then let's see here. Larva basket, volleyball, track racer, snail race, shuffleboard. Oh, the shuffleboard was like the ice one. We had to like literally like try to get to the edge. Yeah. Batting team. Oh, you'd like hit the baseball. Like it's like an old school toy, where it was a baseball player on like a little spinner. And you had to ding. You had to time it to keep hitting it. Bing, bing, bing.
Yeah.
Probably the most fun one we played a few times was probably the Tank Brothers, where we hopped in tanks and we had to kill one another, kind of like an old, I don't know, like an old Mario Party game. That was probably the most fun. And then there's a snow one
These
where
are
you're
probably. Well, I don't say the worst fun. These are probably. Yeah, when you play these, it might make you think of Mario Party. But I don't think hardly any of them are any as good as some Mario Party mini games. Of course, not all Mario Party mini games are winners either.
no. Yeah, but then some of them are okay, but like we didn't really like looking at them. I was like, yeah, there's a reason we didn't play any of these. These are where they got repetitive. Some of the games are literally the same thing. Because one was Tank Brothers, and then the one's called Snow Warfare, and that's the snowballs.
Yeah.
And then there's
it's not really the same as Tank Brothers, but it was still.
When there was icicle throwing, which was like darts, and then there was the plunger dunker, where you had the targets and you had to hit the targets to make them turn around.
Yeah, you crushed me in that one.
Yeah, but that's some of the mini. I see why they did it to make you more, but the mini games honestly were my least favorite part of the game, which is sad.
Yeah, I said we pinged them and then moved on.
Because you have to
played them all one time.
Yeah,
we just touched them, make sure they counted for the achievement, and then we ran off to do more fun things. There's got to be more stuff. We did. Luckily, there's when it comes to we did get all the achievements. I guess as good a place as any to say it. And thankfully, since we're playing a co-op game together, you ain't got to pull your time up because our time should match. We got all the achievements in. We'll round up, say 15 hours. I got 14 hours and 43 minutes is all of the achievements. That includes really playing straight through without a guide or anything like that, and then going back through level select and like pinpointing certain things we missed, like five. Because we only missed like 2 mini games in the entire game. End,
yeah. Mine's 15 hours and 13 minutes.
That's negligible though.
I wonder if that's because like I'm logging into the game and then inviting you in or something.
Possibly,
like that, maybe.
Set up we couldn't stream this game, unfortunately.
Because you had some weird EA blocking. I couldn't live stream it or anything like that. I thought that was really stupid.
We got all the achievements. It was really cool. One of the we'll say that thankfully got to thank True Achievements for this is there's one achievement called for the Tower of Hell, which is an insanely hard tower to climb. But thankfully, you go on TA and you scroll around, and people have found a way to skip it and still get the achievement because it's in the same area. It's kind of off. You wouldn't think to really do it, but like right past the Tower of Hell, you go outside this area and you get these birds to fly on. You get to fly these birds around, which is pretty cool. Another kind of cool mechanic, which is really just flying, but the birds look really cool and they fly really smooth. But apparently, you can go. Get the birds, fly back into the map where the tower is, activate the tower, hop on your bird, and fly to the top of the tower.
You kind of break. You fly backwards. You have to like.
Yeah, it's not even breaking the game. You just turn around and fly your bird back in. I was like, oh, thank God for TA for this kind of stuff because we might have not got the 1K if it wasn't for this way to cheat this stuff in here.
Yeah, that was probably really the.
I tried the tower like twice. And I was like, "Oh God,
I
tried legit." I was like, "This ain't happening." So, really, you just activate, fly the bird to the top, you hop off, and the achievement pops. I think it was the last thing we did was getting that final little piece right there. About the little where that stuff is the clock tower kind of whole area, the clock tower, the town there, which is like a whole little. The game like occasionally like opens up into like wide areas. So we were talking about the snow. The snow level has a snow village. Little Eskimos running around. Like it opens up this wide open kind of semi-open world sections where that is, and then there's like the clockwork town with all kinds of different little mini games and little things to fiddle with. There's a train running around. You can mess with the train a little bit, solve puzzles, and I was surprised every time it kind of opened up into these bigger. Larger area, which it does a couple, maybe 2, 3, 4 times. It opens up, and you're like, "This is big. What's happening here?"
Yeah, why is this so large? Because there's like 3 times that happens.
Is it 3 or is it those 2 I just said? Is it just those 2 towns, the Snow Town and the Clock Tower Town?
The Clock Tower Town, the Snow Town, and then there's like that medieval town where you ride the train around.
That's the Clock Tower Town, isn't it?
The Clock Tower. Or the clock tower town had like the mini game, like, well, not mini games, but like interact with the horse, and then have this like those cardboard rain clouds to like put that building out.
That's the train place. That's all the same. I think it's those two towns. I could be wrong. I think it's just the two towns.
I swear, because one of them was literally a fortress. Where the end thing was we had to both launch ourselves into a door to knock the door open. It was on our way to the final boss.
That might not be a clock. I'll call it Clock Tower Town. I think it's just a little town made of toys and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't think it's a clock tower. I think it is just the two towns. I think I think I'm saying clock tower. And I think that's the same town. I don't think you even got to the clock tower yet.
Probably
that
not.
town's in front of it, or I don't know. There's a lot of game here.
There's a lot of game.
A lot of scene changes. I said it while we were playing the game, of course, and there's lots of high octane scenes in this game. Lots of crazy stuff happens. A lot of relatively large, I'll call it large set pieces. And we're playing this, and like stuff's just happening on screen, and some chaos, and this wild, really cool stuff. And talking to Blake, I was like, "This is way bigger and way more fun than anything we've done in our Gears of War adventures." Like me and Blake were gonna do the whole Gears of War thing together. We ended up playing like Gears 4 and then the Gears 1 remake, and then we jumped ahead to like Gears 5.
Yeah.
We've played Gears together. We played Gears 1, 4. I've played them all. I played 2 and 3 with other friends back in the day. We come to find out how immensely boring Gears is, and Gears was back in the day, and even now, like Gears, like, oh, it's all about the big gunfights, and the set pieces are so cool. And then you play, like, really playing Gears, and there's like no set pieces and nothing interesting ever happens. Or like, what game were we playing back in the day, or what game are people playing now when they brag about how good the Gears games are? Because nothing interesting ever happens in these games. And then we're playing this little dinky, I say dinky, it's the wrong word for it, but sort of on an indie level compared to a Gears game. It Takes Two games, which has a whole bunch of big, bombacious set pieces. You're playing as two little dolls experiencing this world, and so many things. Like there's just so many cool things. There's a part where we're flying. Like one of us is controlling like you said, the shorts, like a pair of shorts flying. Mm-hmm. So I'm like controlling flight, and you're controlling some sort of like gun. There's this whole set piece of like flying through a tunnel where I'm flying. Is it a toy airplane?
It's like a toy
airplane. Oh, because the short thing comes after it. We crashed the airplane.
Because you crashed the airplane and then
kind of glide as a thing.
Yeah.
But I'm flying an airplane, and Blake's shooting a gun, and this like the scene, the whole scene of this is huge. It's crazy. It's super cool. And like I was like, we didn't do anything nowhere near. Nobody's ever going to. Nobody besides me and Blake will probably ever to compare It Takes Two to Gears of War. Probably you probably never heard anybody say this stupid. Comparison. We had played Gears, but too many Gears games back to back, and somewhat recently. We don't talk about Gears on here because we try to. Gears is just not fun to talk about. It's too freaking boring. So you know the listeners don't know we played a lot of the Gears things, and to us, and it was like the closest like to the idea was set pieces. And this game has a bunch.
It has more set pieces that are more filled with action or like intense.
And just flat out more interesting. Like I was like, this is crazy that this is more interesting than a AAA franchise. Now, I'm not getting into the AAA conversation about how those games are just dime a dozen and they're all the same. We're not going to do that. But a lot of the Gears of War games are exactly the same game. Literally telling the same story over and over again.
Yeah, it's stupid.
But the point of that is that this game has awesome parts that are just like you pull this out of this game and you apply a modern shooter aesthetic to this scene, and you got this bombacious, massive, crazy ass set piece that instead you're flying a toy airplane through a tunnel, shooting at bees with whatever little gun you have. Like it's just crazy how they can make something cool and interesting, and like just like kind of wow you a little bit of what's happening.
Because it was the great squirrel and wasp war.
Yeah.
And you were flying an airplane built by squirrels, and you were literally firing peanuts.
Yeah.
That's
acorns or something.
yeah. Oh, maybe an acorn. Yeah, but you're literally doing that.
Yeah, it was cool.
That was pretty epic though, having to fly through the holes and what do you call them, the knots in trees that have been hollowed out. It was pretty crazy, and the whole time the bees or wasps were firing their stingers.
Yeah, it was intense. It was really, really cool.
And then, like I said, you had the mole thing, and then the wasps. Did we ever fight a snake? I don't think I ever fought a snake.
There was no snakes, apparently, weirdly enough. People don't put snakes in games, too.
Or because they're hard to animate.
Yeah, you see little snakes. I got bit by a snake in something. What game was I playing recently? I got bit by a snake.
First person or third person?
Oh, it was Metro Exodus in the desert.
Well, yeah, when you're out and about. And
yeah, Metro Exodus. I got bit by a snake.
I heard a tail route set up, and I gone over there. Chances are
I walked up to. Well, I mean, me like with video games, I walk up to something. I was, "Is this snake going to bite me?" Yep, it bit me.
And I'm dead.
Well, surprised at Metro, it didn't kill me. It just turned my screen green for a while. I was like, "Is this going to go away?" It kind of just fades off.
That's it forever.
Gosh, I'm kind of
floundering a little bit because like I want to talk about it more, but I don't want to spoil certain things for people.
We spoiled a lot of the mechanics. I've heard on other podcasts people talk about the overall story the actual story isn't that good. I can kind of agree with that.
It's a little weak sauce.
You got really great voice actors doing a really great job. They're just not saying anything interesting.
No.
And like they talk about how you could just work out a bad marriage. Apparently, like the whole aspect of it is the book is trying to get y'all to just work out your problems. Like, oh, you could solve anything. You could just fix it. You could just fix any broken marriage. It's kind of like a bad like don't ever get divorced kind of message that the game kind of pushes a little too hard.
Yeah, just a little bit.
And it's kind of vague on the end. That's what I didn't like about it. Is like even when Cody and May, they argue the entire game. There's never like they're not like learning, like they're working together, but they're not acknowledging that they're learning to really work together and get better ever.
Because even
the book even presses you into later events, and he talks to you about going to these places. You got to do this. You got to work together, and what's it called?
And help inspire your
collaboration, blah blah blah,
and passion
to inspire them. And he goes to a whole passion spiel, but the writing in the game doesn't talk about that really. Like there's still like cool things are happening, and then they just start arguing again, and we're just like, okay, this doesn't seem like there's no character growth for the two mains. Really.
It seems like there is because
it's like there's supposed to be, but then nothing ever. There's no. That's why when you get to the end, the slight spoil. When you get to the end, it's extremely vague if they're going to still get because they've already had applied. I think they already had talked about getting divorced in the beginning of the game, and by the end of the game, you're like. I think they're still getting divorced, right?
They're just slightly more friendly, but not really, because they still...
And their problems. And then somebody said, I always bring them up, the Kane and Rinse podcast, somebody said in there that when you're playing the game, granted, I was talking about how, not getting divorced, but they tell you, like, when you listen to May and Cody argue, they don't have any marital problems that couldn't be solved by just talking to each other. There's no big like one didn't cheat on the other, one didn't abandon them. Like they're not doing like May works a lot. Cody stays at home and takes care of the kid. Okay, well, you both agreed to do that.
Yeah,
can't be mad. You can't be mad at her. It's just like it's a cliche, but they're just talking like they don't have any like
huge
family crushing problems. You just talk about it. Like stop. Yeah. What's this whole like getting divorced? Because neither one of them are really bad people.
No. They're really
not bad. They're not. It's not like Cody hits her or anything. Like there's nothing so grave in the game that can't just be solved by just
if they just on your day off.
It's like not worthy of the grand adventure that they go on. To kind of learn nothing.
Yeah, it seemed story is weak.
It is kind of. I think the weakness of the story is probably could be hidden behind you might get blinded by the quality of the actual voice actors. You don't think about how all the crap they're saying is somewhat meaningless, and people hate Hakeem. Like they just really dislike him greatly. I thought he's I don't know, he's kind of funny. He starts off kind of funny, and I like when he like when he popped up, but he was just people. I mean, I don't know. He didn't bother me. Like, people would actually hate him. Like, I don't hate him. I just didn't care.
Yeah.
And a lot of people thought that, when I was reading stuff, and people thought that that don't really make sense. They thought the game would be building up to like you fight him as the last boss, and I was like, why? Like he's not a villain.
He's trying to help. It's
Yeah.
not like if you ended up being the villain, then I mean everything he was teaching you was wrong, and y'all are going to end up getting a divorce.
Yeah,
So
it seemed like why don't I think it's because they hated him, so they wanted to fight him in the end. Didn't really make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
So I don't know about that, but
have you touched on everything you wanted to touch on?
well, my last note in my thing is murdering the elephant.
Oh yeah, princess. It's violent.
I think it's one of the people think GTA and stuff like that is bad. I think murdering and the way you go about murdering this elephant is one of the darkest things I've done in a video game.
And she's like, and
you feel incredibly bad while you're doing it, and your motivations is just as bad too.
Oh yeah.
So you come to find out that the reason you're playing as dolls by barely explained magic.
Spoiler alert! In case you haven't been in the story,
it's the opening scene.
Yeah, true.
But come to find out, your daughter is real. I forget if she sees an argument or she overhears an argument.
She overhears y'all's argument.
About she's getting divorced or something like that. But she has these two dolls that she's made, like handmade these dolls, and she cries. And I forget somehow that Cody and May find out that her tears are what did the whatever magic. I forget if Hakeem tells them or they find out it was tears. So they come with this like without much thought and very quickly. They agree that the best thing to do is to make their daughter cry again. There's not one of them has the idea and the other one argues like, let's not make our daughter cry. That's bad. They're both like, this is a genius idea. Let's do something horrible to our daughter so she'll cry again and we'll jump under the tears and we'll be cured. This is earlier in the game to figure they have to like complete the adventure to fix themselves. But like it's just like. They agree way too fast.
Oh yeah, with no arguing at all.
And what do you do? Her favorite thing in the world is her
stuffed elephant, Princess Joy.
Princess Joy, the stuffed element. And you go through a whole shebang of stuff just getting to I forget which sections, which items and stuff lead up to getting up to Joy, but it's the whole thing. I think you said earlier the bowling ball hitting the castle is the last thing you do to get up into that's Princess Joy's castle. And you end up, a little bit of spoiler, you end up with this extended scene of murdering this elephant and dragging her to her death and throwing her off.
You like rip off her leg and her stuffing is slowly pouring out the leg as you drag her across.
Yeah, and the game makes you like grab her and drag her to the edge of this table and she's talking and crying and like, why? The whole time, and you're ripping off her limbs, and it's like she grabs onto something and you got to pull extra hard to rip her legs off. And you drag her to the edge, and it's like the juxtaposition of it is like you're dragging her. This whole scene of her crying and blah blah blah, and you drag her and you throw it off the edge, and it hard cuts to the elephant in the not magical or the elephant just falling off the table.
And his leg falling off.
His leg falling, like the falling, and then the kid's sad and she cries, and then I think they run and get under her tears and nothing happens. It's like not curing them, so they did it all for nothing.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, but just it's hard to.
How intense
intense it's so strict. It's literally just a stuffed elephant, but the game it ain't a cutscene. The game they make you interact. They make you pull on her. They make you, and they talk to her first, blah blah blah, and then they said we're sorry, we're here to
kill
you. And she's like, what? It's such this happy princess elephant, and I say it again, it's one of the most brutal murders I've ever been a part of in a video game.
It's like a lot more violent than anything you did in Mafia 3 almost.
Yeah. I killed a lot of people in Mafia 3. We talked about that. You haven't played Mafia 3 yet. You gotta get around to that game. It's a very good game. I mean, it's a scene that's probably been talked about. They talk about it in passing, I think, a little bit on the Cane and Rinse, but
it's very violent.
I mean, it's a scene that'll stick with you for a while, make
like,
you feel,
geez.
and you're killing somebody who's completely 100% innocent for your own reasons,
for your own selfish
and they don't
needs.
even. I think they might barely apologize to her while they're murdering her, but they don't feel bad. There's no scene of them feeling bad afterwards.
Because in their head, it's not a real person. It's just a stuffed doll.
It's a stuffed little.
Like, we're real. You're just a toy. We can sew you back together when we're done. We don't care. Like I can see the reason behind it because they're adults.
Yeah.
But it's still violent.
Before we wrap it up, I guess, can you think of any other favorite parts. There's so much, like in 15 hours, it's 15 hours of constantly changing mechanics. Like it's hard to remember
We talked about a bunch of anything else I have that might be favorited. Well, one of the cool things is the you do get grinding along those rails and the cords and stuff.
The grinding's fun.
That's a pretty cool little mechanic, and it's used in one of the bosses. You have to like. Now that's a pretty epic boss too. One of the the wasp queen. You have to grind around it, and you're firing like
the honey stuff at her back,
and I have to like blow the armor off, and then we have to blow up the. And that was pretty cool.
Yeah, a lot of the grinding. There's lots of grinding in the game. I guess this is reminiscent maybe of Ratchet and Clank a little bit. But there's a lot of grinding sequences. There was that part where the grinding were like grinding on rails, and like you're hitting these little buttons with the animals.
Yeah. You're like duck, and I have to
like horse. So like I'm grinding on one side, and you're standing at a panel of animals, and I'm grinding towards it. Only one of my animals is on your panel, and I have to holler out the animal, and you gotta press on the animal to move the animal thing out of my way. It was kind of funny.
The panel
but you're really two grown men just hollering horse, cat,
sheep. What's on mine? Because I have to look at him and then look at my screen, or he's and because again, it's one of those things where you having the split screen
helps.
And because I can see what he has coming up, and he has two choices. He has like a duck and a horse, and I'm like, what do I have in my pan? Oh, there's the horse. And sometimes you don't recognize it fast enough.
Yeah, it was funny. But there's a lot of the grinding stuff. The grinding sequences, there's big grinding sequences too. I'm talking about set pieces. There's ones that involve jumping and swinging and grinding and changing rails and all kinds of stuff. And they do a lot of cool things. It's kind of neat to have. Sometimes they'll have rails together and looping together. If you're grinding at the same time, you got this whole sequence of y'all.
Because it just looks really
cool. Yeah, you're on two different rails. Yeah, it looks really neat. It's just some visual stuff they do. They had a lot of fun with them. They knew it would look cool in action.
I have two things. One to talk about like how fairly successful the game is.
Yeah.
Of all the I didn't see a single review that was below like an 82.
Yeah.
It gives like 4 out of 5, 4.5 out of 5. It's very good.
It's just like the game, like we get to that. Like the game is just good. It amazing. Like I said earlier in the game, it amazingly you have this many mechanics in the game. They nailed control.
Yeah. You're
never fumbling. Somehow you're never fumbling on the buttons. Like there's never anything where like this is too my brain hurts. It's too. It's never like that. Like they teach you a mechanic, and it just sticks. And then like you drop that mechanic and you move on to the next thing. You're like, oh, this is easy. I just do this now.
Yeah, this is.
It's crazy that like it's. Like he talked about, he said like Joe said his name. Joe said he wanted to make a better game. Like he wanted to make Yosef wanted to make a better game, and his team nailed it. They just made a flat out
better experience.
A better experience. And we're coming to the end of this. You're going to talk about how good the game's received. This is, I think, to me, and you might agree, this is the best co-op game I've ever played.
Because right here is the exact quote, I guess. Mm-hmm. Let's see. After release of Way Out in 2018, the team decided to create another co-op only video game, and they had become more experienced and a more refined team, and they felt that they could further expand and improve upon the idea.
This is a massive leap from A Way Out.
Oh, God, yes. Like, A Way Out had, like, one or two cool things of, like, murking people, like, together. And, you know.
But, like, we're talking, like, we play a lot of co-op stuff. 99% of co-op games, you play together, you're just in the same place at the same time doing stuff together. You know?
Yeah.
Aside from A Way Out being a lighter version of this, there's any other games that really require you to do things. Like you can't do anything alone, and It Takes Two. It's the cleverness of the design of every single puzzle. They designed everything in a way that it requires both of you to participate to complete something, and they did it over and over and over again. I worry that like this is like their masterstroke, that I don't know if if these developers can do this again.
Yeah,
you know, I think it's quite a feat. The game's getting talked about, but I don't know if it's getting talked about maybe quite as much as it should be. Like what they've really accomplished here when it in terms of a co-op experience. You know.
Yeah. Just because while we were talking, I looked into that Take Two interactive bullcrap. Mm-hmm. and they are a much bigger company. Take-Two Interactive is
They're a publisher.
Yeah, but they're the parent company. They own. They're the company that owns other publishing companies, and other publishing companies that they own are Irrational Games, Social Point, Rockstar, and 2K. They own them.
So they're like $1 billion company.
They're massive. Yeah, I think it says right here their equity as of 2021 was total asset equity is $6.1 billion.
And they're whiny over their name.
Yeah, they don't want people to get their name mistaken for this game. Yeah. But speaking of, we talked about how successful it was. The game had in 11 months that it came out. It sold more since then, but from March 2021 to February 2022, it had sold 5 million copies.
That's massive.
That's, for a game like this, definitely.
For a game like that, it's definitely massive. We often don't talk about sales too much, but nothing makes GTA or Call of Duty numbers. No. That's not a metric you can talk about games.
That's the anomaly.
That's the
exception, not the rule, or whatever.
Not the rule. So 5 million copies on any game is awesome.
That's fantastic.
Especially on a game like, It Takes Two Way Out and Brothers didn't make those numbers.
They probably did. I didn't go into them, but I don't think they came anywhere close.
But that's taking, think about that. That's purchases now. Double that for people who play,
give or take 1.5.
Give or take, maybe. Yeah, the people you had to have a friend play. Because some more people have played it than that.
Some people may not have realized that they could share.
It's currently how we played it. Obviously, it's easy to do it.
Still on Game Pass.
It's on Game Pass right now. Yeah, it's part of the EA. Cause EA Play is kind of part of Game Pass. A lot of EA stuff comes to Game Pass. So thankfully, we had to give. I say give EA money, but we didn't buy this. We we GameFlyed. I think GameFly a way out and we game share a way out. That like the little friend share thing.
Yeah,
a way out. Yeah. Yeah, we both downloaded full versions of this from Game Pass to play it together. This is actually something I probably intend on. I might play through it again with my fiance Jessica. We might play this again because I played through the entire thing. And I only experienced the Cody. I got to watch you do the May side of the thing, but I really only experienced the Cody side of things. It's just kind of interesting because you get entirely different gameplay mechanics playing the other side.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, just randomly. I'll talk about this because we've dove into their sales, and I kind of want to briefly talk about what the most recent news for the movie.
Okay.
But because we said they sold 5 million copies in a year.
Yeah.
In 11 months, they sold 5 million copies.
That's awesome.
Now, it's not the same company, but brother to tell of two sons. It came out in 2013, and by 2015, January, it had sold 800,000 copies.
Massive difference. Still a good game, but massive difference.
Still a good game. Now, it doesn't go on to say much more, but it says for A Way Out, in its first 2 weeks, had sold 1 million copies.
Wow.
But I don't think it went much further than that. Because it says it's reviewed highly, but averaging... Okay, it's in January 21, the total overall sales was 3.5 million copies. So over the course of...
That's not bad, though. Not bad at all.
It came out in 2018, so over the course of... What's that, 3 years? Mm-hmm. 18, 19, 20, 21. That's not... so they're getting better.
Yeah. I thought... weren't they approached for a Way Out movie as well? At some point?
I think they were.
That one kind of peter out.
Yeah, I think
that would just be a freaking prison escape movie. Like we've all seen that movie.
Time and time again.
Yeah, it's different when you're not applying control to the two characters.
Now, I'll be done after this, and you can finish up whatever. But it's the earlier this year, January. It officially went into feature-length movie production.
Mm-hmm.
with 2
Is
writers.
this live action with
I don't know.
CG? Like, they're not being very clear if it's gonna be like
I'm
a
not
whole.
entirely sure. I think it'll have to be both.
Like a
It
live
would have to blend.
Okay,
Like
yeah.
CGI, because it's what I mean. I think it have to.
Well,
be,
you could have CG. The human beings could just be CGI people. So I don't know if they're gonna do like have like 3 live actors for the mom, dad, and daughter, and then switch to like a 3D aesthetic for the animated aesthetic for the rest of the thing. I'm not sure.
But this is the most recent information that I can give you. They officially announced it was going into development in January, with the 2 screenwriters, Pat Casey and Josh Miller, who their biggest credit right now is the Sonic movie, both of them. So that's pretty great. Because they're with the production company DJ2 Entertainment, and they're doing all that stuff. I think I spoke about it in like an episode
You
or 2
mentioned
ago,
it before, yeah.
that they were going on a couple of things. Now, it looks like it's supposed to follow by it looks like April. It was announced that Amazon had landed the distribution rights as part of a first look deal between DJ2 Interactive and the screenwriters. The plot has been confirmed that it's fairly the same thing. Through magic, their lives of 2 dolls she handmade together, the couple will learn together to regain their trust and bodies. And it says that some high-end production people have joined it, and I was like, I read their names, like, I don't know, who cares about producers? I don't know you. But Dwayne Johnson is one of the executive producers for the movie.
That's random as hell.
Super random.
I wonder what's the behind the scenes of that, or why he's in.
Maybe he likes it. Maybe someone drew his attention to it. It might have something to do, because I did look into him. The 2, I think it might be all him. Frankly, he may have wanted to do it, because it says 2 of the other producers. One was a lady named Danny Garcia, and it is actually Dwayne Johnson's ex-wife, and another gentleman named Hiram Garcia, which I think is her current husband. And Hiram Garcia, since 2008, Journey to the Center of the Earth 2, starring Dwayne The Rock. Since then, if Dwayne The Rock Johnson appeared in any movie, he produced it.
Okay.
So I don't know who showed favor first, but they appear to be.
It's gonna have high production value at the very least.
They appear to be a team, and it says that it's a joint venture between DJ2 Entertainment, something called $7 Production, which I don't know them, Amazon Studios, and the actual gaming company. They're allowed creative input into the movie because they want.
Surely.
Yeah. Sometimes there's like, I would take on your property here, but part of the deal was they were allowed creative input.
Surely Yosef would be front and center for.
I mean, he's directed movies before, so it's possible he might direct the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, he has like 8 or 10 movies under his belt, but they're all Swedish or Lebanese.
Oh, cool.
I don't think they've been. They may be. He's, and it does say that it will be released streaming via Prime Video as a Prime original movie, and that no one knows the role, but they have asked Johnson to appear in the movie as well. Now, I think having him come in and just be the voice of Dr. Hakim would be hilarious.
Yeah.
Frankly.
That'd be good.
Or he could be. There's a lot of voice work he could be.
I really wish they let the 2 voice actors reprise their roles. If any, like, come on now, it's just
you look
easy casting.
Who knows? That's not a selling point.
I know it's a selling point to the people who played the games and have the original voice actors come back and reprise their roles. It just makes sense.
But it's not just us.
And both of them have acted in movies, so they should just play with the roles.
Yeah, I don't know why they wouldn't, but because they could just do those other people as like the live action versions and have these people do their voice, or I don't know.
Yeah, stuff like rocket science. You just have the people who were in it do it again.
But I see why, but it's just dumb. Yeah. But that's kind of really all they have. Like it's kind of steamrolling forward. Especially I don't know how he came on board, but with Dwayne Johnson attached to it, it'll get made. Maybe it has something to do with he wants his kids to have a cute movie or something, but then it's a movie.
Maybe he played the game with his kids. Who knows?
It's possible. Or maybe he played it with Kevin Hart. But you can take over the reins, Drew.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's like I said, a fantastic game. Worth every bit of your time. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I would get to points I think where I said like, man, this game's taking a long time, and then some new fun mechanic would come out, and I would just forget about how long the game was and just keep on enjoying myself. I think it's worth every bit of the time it takes to play it. It's currently as a recording of this podcast, it's on Game Pass. TA is telling me it's on sale right now for $20 if you want to buy it. Normally $40, which is not even a full price game.
And remember, you only have to buy it once, and you can share it with a friend.
Yeah, so I think it's and even full price. I think this game's worth every bit of. It's a lot of game there, and a lot of you play through it twice on the opposite side. So that's not bad for it's not even a full retail at $60. It's $40. So
yeah, again,
I think and $20 is a steal. I would say. So yeah, I loved it. I mean, I really did. I'm glad we got our hands on it and got to play it. All right, and with that done, I'm gonna move into the last part here, a heavy metal band, which is nothing to do. I don't theme. I can't. It's impossible to theme the bands to the games we play. But I stumbled back across. I've been listening to this band quite a bit, but I stumbled back across this band recently. They've actually been putting out new music for like the first time in like 10 years. It's been kind of crazy. Bands disappear and they do come back. This band is called Dry Kill Logic. Again, they're an American heavy metal band from Westchester County, New York. Never been there. I'll never go there. Been around since '95. They had a different band name back then, but over the course of their time, they had released 3 albums currently and have been putting out new music in a new song in 2019, a new song in 2020, but hadn't really put out an album since 2006. It's one of those bands you think is going to disappear forever, and then they randomly just start putting out new music. I've come across a couple of these things when on the podcast. I actually picked a song, I think, I hate to say, I feel like their first album's probably their best album. It's the album that me and Blake both kind of like the most. Yeah. More of like, I kind of call it, I may have mentioned before, I kind of call it groove metal. It's just like, I don't know if that's even a genre or not, but
I think it's
just like,
genre. It's
just metal with more of like this weird, some metal is just like bang, 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 and screaming all the time. Like groove metal is like, and bands get away from this. Like, that's like their first album kind of does it more. I always say, earlier Chimera does a lot more groove. Earlier
Devil Driver.
Earlier Devil Driver is way more groove. Devil Driver kind of turns into just banging and yelling eventually. It's always seems like earlier in their careers they do a lot more groove, and then they get away from it. And it's I don't know what or why you get away from the more fun kind of sound. To me, more fun kind of sound. So obviously I picked a song. Loud. This is a loud band, but a very loud, and I don't think it's a single. I hate when I pick singles by accident. I don't think it's a single personally, but I did pick a song. It turns out apparently it's the first song on the album too. As I'm looking right now, it's the first song on the album. Off the album, The Darker Side of Nonsense is their first album. I picked a song called Nightmare, and you remember Nightmare? We listened to it in the car the other day. He's just, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about it, but it's just a good song that really jumped out at me. It's loud and fast and just has it's just a lot of fun to listen to. I don't really remember too much about the other albums. I've listened to all their music, of course, but I don't know, something about the earlier stuff. And I always feel like, bands throw me off when they don't stick with what they were doing in the beginning. Like they have good songs on the other albums. I just trail away from. I get locked into the early stuff. It's a band because of not being around for a long, long time. A band that we've never seen live.
Yeah.
So it'd be somebody I'd like to check off the list. There's a couple of bands we've never got to see live. I'd love to check off the list. One we'll never get to see live is like Linkin Park. We never saw Linkin Park live. I know people who see Linkin Park live, and now we'll never. Like even if Linkin Park came to town now, I wouldn't go because it's not the same band.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go without Chester. There's just no point. They wouldn't do the stuff that you want to hear. But not that Dry Kill Logic's anywhere near as good as Linkin Park is technically. That's maybe insulting to Dry Kill Logic, but it's definitely a band. If it came to Nashville, I'd love to go see. Oh, we had this before. We went and saw. We did it. We made this mistake. We went and saw Static X without Wayne.
Yeah,
and we ended up kind of leaving. Like the Static X, Wayne Static of Static X has passed away quite a few years back. But the band had got together and got another a singer from another band because they wanted to tour and in support, kind of Wayne's, and then in honor of Wayne, tour
to the point that we don't know who did it.
Well, they knew who the singer was. Like the singer from one of the other bands was doing it. They didn't hide who it was, but he did kind of dress up and like wear a mask and like do his hair kind of like how Wayne used to do it.
He didn't say, "Oh, it's me coming out there." He tried his best to not like you could figure it out, but they didn't want to take credit.
Yeah, but we did that, and then like seeing that was our only time we ever got to see Static X live, and it's just not the same when you don't have Wayne there doing it.
Yeah,
and we saw we kind of left that day, and we saw Drowning Pool one time.
Yeah, with one of the many different
Drowning Pool's been through a couple of singers since their first singer died of a drug overdose.
Accidental.
So that's two bands we've seen have singers that not the original singers. So it never pans out well. I know Static X is still doing shows. They're touring with a lot of cool bands and stuff. But I wouldn't go see them again. But anyway, I'm back on the subject of Dry Kill Logic, a band I haven't seen. I don't go to too many shows anymore. Like I've seen a lot of. Am I humble bragging? We've seen a lot of bands, a lot of our favorite bands, even bands we thought we'd never get to see. We've seen cool bands. Like we've seen like the first band on the podcast, Fair to Midland, a band I thought I'd never get to see Fair to Midland live. We saw Fair to Midland 3 times in 3 different cities. We saw Fair to Midland quite a few times. They're not around anymore, but we got to see them.
Yeah, they went to crazy show. Then they opened for like Breaking Benjamin or something.
Oh, for 10 years.
10 years. That's what. Yeah, they opened for 10 years. That's what it was. That was because I mean, if they were open for 10 years, that'd be insane. And then like 3 years later, they opened for 10 years. That's insane.
That was one of the craziest nights ever. Yeah. Yeah, but we have seen a lot of our favorite bands.
Like what? Yeah.
Yeah, live. We got to see a lot of cool things. Dry Kill Logic doesn't rank very, very, very high for me, but it was somebody that's on the like if they came to town or somewhere nearby, I'd be like, I want to see that. I want to at least check them out, check the box,
Exit in or the end or something like that.
Yeah, they're probably around the end level. They're a small time.
Just see them and then leave. I don't care about anyone else there.
Yeah, so I'd like to see them. But anyway, stuff rambling on. I talked about. What do you say more about bands, really? If you like their music, I don't really start talking in circles about it like I always do with bands a lot of times. So, I'll wrap things up. Do something on the end here real quick that I've been doing on the end of our other podcast. I should be doing on the end of this podcast. You think after 3 years of doing this podcast, I would have things down to a science. I don't. But on the end of our other podcast, I thank a couple of people. I need to do it on this podcast. I'm an idiot. Of course. So, we like to thank Jared and the guys at Emerge. Jared's kind of gave us permission, but our intro song is an Emerge song.
Yeah.
And I just asked kind of Jared offhandedly one time before he was on the podcast. He was like, "Yeah, man, sure, take whatever song you want." And I was like, "So cool!" Like, the song. I love the song is "Letting Go." You can hear the full song on Spotify. Go support Emerge and everything they do. Hope they'll do new music. They have a full album right now. Hope they'll do new music and get back into touring and stuff. I think he said
got married earlier.
Jared got married. I'm getting their personal. Jared got married. I think on the podcast with Jared, he talked about his brother was also had a baby. What did he say? His brother had a baby. They had life stuff going on, like real life. I say real life, like band's not real life stuff going on. But hopefully, Emerge will get back around to doing more music again. But we always want to thank Jared for giving us access to his catalog of music to give us that awesome. I love that the way that intro, because I listened to the whole album trying to find that perfect song, and the intro to Letting Go is just so good, and it fits so well into like the intro of like introing, because it's introing a song basically is what it's doing. It's a build up of a song, and it works really well for opening a podcast. Love it. We got to thank. I've been thanking for years. We've been using him for years now. Is thank Devious.Pixel for all the art he does for the podcast. He's kind of the artistic face of this podcast, whether he knows it or not. But we'll have to thank him. I doubt he listens to the podcast. But yeah, he's the art. We love it. We use him for that. We use him for our other podcast. You almost wanted to use him for your story, but you wanted a kind of a darker tone for your short stories. So we reached out a little further into the internet for your short story. Your story is too serious to have. Granted, Devious maybe could have done something more serious, but we kind of want to separate him from the darker tone of your story.
Oh yeah.
For our more lighthearted podcasts. So that's what I wanted to do. I've been doing that on the end of every action episode. I've been like, why don't I do the same thing for the music and the art for this podcast? So now I won't be as mouthy about it on the next episodes, but I will be trying to thank the guys, give people credit where credit's due. The sound and image of our podcast comes from these places. I didn't even think, because I'm leaning heavy into the Emerge thing now. I might never, we had an original intro before that I paid somebody to make for us and stuff like that, and I liked using that for a long time too, but I've gotten so far away from that now. The first, I don't know how many episodes you hear that original one. I honestly
50.
I forgot the guy's name.
Andy something. Andy
Rinaldi maybe.
Yeah.
Somebody was reached out to on Reddit, and he made a cool intro for us. I might never go back to it. I don't know. I love the Emerge one too much, and I don't know if I'll ever change it to anything else. Anyway, that's what I got. I thank everybody for people who continue to listen. Write into the podcast. Nobody writes into the podcast, and we know people listen. I see numbers. You know, I'm not bragging about numbers, but people listen. So don't be afraid to write in. I'm gonna start doing better posts about if we plan the games out better. We didn't get I posted about this game, and our previous guest, our cousin Daniel, he's like, yeah, me and my wife played the game. I'm like, cool.
Yay! There's comments.
Yeah, I need an elaboration. So there you go, Daniel. There's your shout out. Like, you commented on the post. Thank you. We need
brand recognition.
Not brand recognition. We just need people. If people want to write in and say things about the games or anything like that. Let us know about your experience of a game. We'll share it on the podcast. So we'll stop rambling now. I ramble at the end of things sometimes, and it's like all podcasts. Into our podcast, it's time to eat. So I'm getting hungry. Put some food in my belly. So I'm done. At the very end, you're going to hear from the band Dry Kill Logic and their song Nightmare.
I want to wish everybody a good evening and good night.
Flush it away.